This is Fox 18 News at 7 in high definition.
Good morning, everybody, on this Monday morning. I'm Redrick Terry.
And I'm Alexandria Ikomoni. Thanks for waking up with us on Fox 18 News at 7. Let's get started with your local news, beginning with our top story. The search is on for the two men behind a mugging that left one man shot.
That happened Friday night in Davenport near 15th and LeClaire Streets. Police tell us a man was approached by two other men demanding money. One of them pulled out a gun. After shooting at the man, the two suspects took off and haven't been caught yet. That man was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
And Davenport police dealing with another case from Friday. Right now they're investigating after shots were fired near a high school football game. Now, this was near the Brady Street Stadium. It was only hours after the shots fired on 15th Street. But this was on Davenport Avenue near the entrance of Old Town Mall. They say more than a dozen shell casings were found.
The Muscatine Fire Department is helping people learn what to do in case of a house fire. It comes as fire prevention takes center stage during October. The department hosted the annual event with this year's theme being Not Every Hero Wears a Cape. Plan and practice your escape. Fire officials wanted to teach people how to buy more time in the event of a fire. They say it had lots of families thinking about safety.
This is a great opportunity for us to really talk to, the kids and even the parents. There's a lot of parents that benefit as well from our event here today. So very important event for us as well as the community.
The battalion chief says if a fire does happen in your home, get out as soon as possible, call 911 and do not go back inside.
Time now is 7:02. There's a push in the Quad Cities to get more people involved with politics. The Lane Evans Forum at Augustana College was this past weekend. Local activists, students, and veterans joined the conversation, talking about how liberal thought can attract voters. National radio commentator and author Jim Hightower explains how people can be more engaged.
Politics means being there, to start with that, and being there can mean anything from just simply registering and voting and getting other people to do the same, but it can also mean taking an active role in a political party, but also in organizations that are doing issue political work.
Former Senator and presidential candidate Fred Harris also spoke at this forum.
October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and in Princeton, an exhibit is bringing awareness by telling stories of local victims.
That's right. Right now, the Silent Witness Initiative is happening through Freedom House for victims and survivors. Fox 18's Andrea Medina joined us live from Princeton, Illinois. Good morning, Andrea. How long has this been going on?
Good morning, guys. The initiative started in 1990 in Minnesota. Then in 2004, it was adopted here locally by Freedom House. With me this morning is Mary. She is a child and teen counselor. Good morning to you. Good morning. Now, domestic violence is not an easy topic to talk about, and it's also not always easy to identify some of those signs. And you working with children and teenagers, what are some signs people need to look out for?
Yeah, so oftentimes it can manifest physically. When it's physical abuse, it might be cuts or burns on the body in strange patterns. It could be anything like welts or bruises that are left after the child or the teen has been abused, obviously. Sometimes it manifests itself in more behavioral ways, such as withdrawing from friends or activities. You can see that in schools where their performance might be going down. Their grades aren't showing as good of performing. It might be things just like wearing clothes to cover certain parts of the body during different times of the year. Yeah.
Now, what could maybe teachers or maybe neighbors or maybe another adult, what can they do if they do see a teenager or a child with showing some of those signs?
Sometimes the first step is just going to the child in a private way and asking them if something's going on at home. If the child isn't or the teen isn't always willing to answer those questions, they may just go ahead straight to the reporting that, whether to local police, local hospitals. They can even call us here at Freedom House. We have a 24-hour hotline. We're always open to hearing questions and concerns.
Now, of course, this is something that we really don't like talking about or seeing, but how common is this? How common does this happen with kids?
It's pretty common. So when there's domestic violence in the home, it often co-occurs with child abuse and neglect. Children are often witnesses, if not victims, and that affects them emotionally in a lot of different ways, psychologically as well.
Okay, so behind us we do have 11 silhouettes, and one of those is also a teenager. What can you tell us about that?
Right. So if you want to look over here, we have Christy Doyle. She was 15 years old in 1990. Her older cousin, Brian, came from Chicago to visit her. He later stabbed her that night 12 times with a butcher knife. Her body wasn't found until the next morning. Unfortunately, by the time she had been taken to the hospital, she was pronounced dead, and Brian was sentenced to her life prison.
Now, these are things that, I mean, to us, they're very gory details, and to us also, it's shocking to hear this, but this is something you kind of have to hear about all the time in your field.
Right, yeah, it's something that, it's hard for sure, it's sad, but I'm just glad that Freedom House here is a resource for people that are hurting and that we can provide a voice for the victims that aren't often able to speak out on their own.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mary. And coming up in the next 30 minutes, we're going to continue the conversation of domestic violence and also talk a little bit more about the initiative of the Silent Witness Project. Alexandria, back to you guys.
Andrea, thank you. Time now is turning 7:06. Tailgating in Iowa City brings out all kinds of traditions.
Yeah, Hawkeye Headquarters reporter Adam Rosso tells us about one weekly party that uses an old family vehicle to connect generations of Iowa fans. It is this week's Tailgate of the Week.
You can't say no to coming to Iowa City for the Hawks. I mean, what else are you going to do on a Saturday other than watch it on TV?
It's a multi-tentacled tailgate not far from Niall Kinnick,
I'm an Iowa fan. I bleed black and gold.
where hordes of Hawks fans indulge every Saturday.
The atmosphere is awesome. It doesn't matter if it's a big game or if it's just a non-conference game.
Joe Demmer and his family have had their spot here for around a decade.
Getting back together with everybody from back home when I was in college and then continuing the tradition after I graduated from college.
A tradition enhanced by a vehicle from the past.
We ride down in our van every weekend, again, 89, 40 kind of line.
Tiger Hawks and other Iowa paraphernalia have spiffed up the van to make it a more tailgate-themed ride.
Mom and Dad sold it when we were younger, and we found one that was really similar, so that kind of makes it a special moment from our childhood now to these tailgate days.
We don't want to hurt our resale value.
And the 1980s relic has in turn brought back some of Hawkeyes fans' greatest memories from that special decade.
When Iowa was #1, Michigan was #2, and I had my two sons with me, and Rob Outland kicked the field goal, and we won the game.
And whether it's the Econo line or a legendary kick, the thread that connects generations at this party is Hawkeyes football.
Just getting together on the Saturdays, that's what it's all about.
Reporting from Iowa City,
Let's go Hawks!
Adam Rosso for Hawkeye Headquarters.
Almost 7:09, kids in the Quad Cities got to dress up a little early over the weekend. Dozens of kids came out to the Botanical Center yesterday in full costume. There were plenty of festive things to do, like the pumpkin broom race, pumpkin toss, and the candy corn race. Kids also got to paint pumpkins to take home.
October seems to be real busy for us here, and just to get a lot of activities for the community to enjoy and think of the fall as a real fun time.
And what would a Halloween event be without a season classic? Over in the Story Corner, kids heard the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown.
I love it.
Oh, you gotta love it this time of year. It looks like the kids had a lot of fun. A lot of different stuff to do and to hear a classic like Charlie Brown at this time of year. Ooh, just gotta love it.
Oh, you do. Just love everything about it this past weekend. Spending time with the family, enjoying all the festivities. Ash, it was a good weekend, but they did have to dodge some showers, and even today might need to dodge some more.
Yeah, there was a few there on Saturday, but this morning the rain has been a lot heavier than what we saw then. The rain's continuing to pass through right now, moving off towards the north and the east. Cloud cover sticking with us, keeping it nice and warm this morning as well. So 56 as you're heading out the door, and look at the winds. They're picking up a lot. 21 miles per hour out of the east in Moline, 17 miles per hour out of the east in Davenport. This is all on the backside. It was kind of calm as the front was passing, but now that the front has passed, at least in the metro area, those winds picking up a lot. Now this rain is pushing off towards the north and the east, so might get a few more showers developing on the backside. You can see some of those making their way through Des Moines, but I wouldn't expect a whole lot of rain anymore, especially for those that have already seen seen it, and it's already cleared out. But continued rain does fall northeast of the Quad Cities right now. We're up to 62, 63 or so this afternoon. That'll be our high temperature. Then we'll start to drop off temperature-wise quickly, back down to the mid-40s tonight. Nice and cool for the next few days ahead of us with some gusty winds. So hold on to your hats.
Oh, yeah. Things going to get a little windy outside once again.
Absolutely.
Yikes.
I tell you, gusty.
Yikes.
It's going to be strong, but you know what? Gets back down to 30, so I'm excited.
You excited for that?
Excited.
It's a good thing, right? No?
I mean, you know.
No.
And then the jacket weather.
Depends on who you ask, I guess.
Yes. I say no.
It's that time.
It is what it is.
It is
You know what I
it is.
mean?
What are you going to do?
Just let it be.
All right, Ash, thanks. Coming up, where Prince fans can hear never heard before music.
The time now is 7:11.
Watching Fox 18 News at 7.
Fox 18 News is live at 7 with Redrick Terry, Alexandria Ikomoni, and meteorologist Ash Simpson. You're watching Fox 18 News at 7 in high definition.